What's up everybody, Chadley here, and in today's video I want to talk about 5 very underrated weapons right now in Borderlands 3. And lately the community has been stuck with the same few guns as the meta for basically all characters. It's been a ton of recursions, brainstormers, redistributors, all stuff like that. So there's actually a community challenge that Moxie and Killer6 started, and it is speedruns for the takedown, but only using certain weapons that are not a part of this ban list. So that actually got me thinking and experimenting with a ton of different weapons, and there are a ton of different hidden gems in the game. Some of you guys might have already used some of these, but for the most part, I do not see them widely used right now in a ton of different build videos, so I wanted to share some of those with you guys today. In this video, we will cover where these guns come from and what they do. Obviously, some of these guns will be a little bit better with different characters, but overall, these weapons can be made good with basically any character in the game. Now, this is my personal list and my opinion. You guys might have some differing opinions on which guns are underrated in the game. So if you guys think some other guns are very underrated, make sure to leave them as a comment down below. Also to note, this list is in no particular order, so number 5 is the same as number 1 for me. But with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into number 5. Coming in at number 5 is the Star Helix. This is a dual assault rifle with full auto, burst fire, and semi-auto modes possible on the gun. This gun comes from the Power Troopers in Atlas HQ on Promethea. What this gun does is shoot 3 bullets in a snaking pattern. The middle one will go straight, but the 2 on the edge will kind of snake in and out. So there are certain points where all 3 bullets are in the exact same place. So the best way to maximize the damage on this gun is either just barrel stuff people or figure out the distances those 3 bullets intersect, and that way you guys will get the max damage possible out of this gun. Once you guys get used to playing at these distances, it just absolutely shreds on Mayhem 4. I personally like to use it on my Zane right now. Moze is also another great option. But overall, the Star Helix is a very solid choice for those looking for a good dual assault rifle. Taking our number 4 spot is the Bekaa. You can attain this weapon by completing all of the Hammerlock hunts in the game, and Hammerlock will mail it to you. So unfortunately, this weapon is pretty tough to farm, especially if you guys are on console and can't do read-only farms. This is my guess to why I don't really see this gun used all that often. What this gun does though is shoots 4 bullets, 1 main bullet, and then that main bullet is followed by a horizontal spread of 3 more bullets, each one doing the base damage you see on the weapon. This gun just absolutely shreds in Mayhem 4, especially when paired with the correct anointments. I personally love to use this on my flak, whether I'm doing rack attack or fadeaway. It doesn't really matter what build I'm using with flak, this gun just feels so good with him. Hopefully you guys can tell by the gameplay that you're seeing with this, how much this gun just destroys. Whether you are trying to take down a boss like Trant, or just mobbing in general, this gun just shreds through enemies in 1 or 3 shots. Somewhere in there is usually all it takes to kill somebody. Personally, the Bekaa is one of my favorite weapons in the game, and it really earns a spot on the list. Coming in our number 3 spot, while we're talking about Jacobs, we're gonna have the Splosion. This is a Jacobs sniper rifle that is probably one of the best snipers in the game. This gun only comes from Manvark and Conrad's Hold on Pandora, but this gun shoots a round that explodes on impact, and if you hit a critical hit with it, it's going to ricochet 3 more bullets at nearby enemies, and those bullets are also going to explode. So not only does this weapon deal a ton of single target damage, if there's tons of enemies around, you guys are going to have really good crowd control potential with this gun. I love using this gun with my White Death flak build that I released a couple days ago. If you guys want to check that build out, I'll have a card to it in the upper right hand corner. You guys can go check it out. With that build, I have actually completed the entire takedown, only using the Splosion. So even against armored targets and it just being a normal damage weapon, you can still put out some pretty good damage if you are pairing some action skill and anointments with it. Now obviously flak will get the best use out of this weapon, but Amara can actually get some pretty decent use out of it as well, especially if you guys have good aim and can pair it with a spiritual driver and hit some headshots while you're running at super fast speeds. Right now there's not really a ton of snipers that are useful in the end game, except for really the Lyuda, but that is also a full auto sniper. The Splosion is basically the only viable one-shot sniper in the game. The Tankman's is pretty good, but unfortunately you cannot switch off that weapon or else you will lose the bonus damage you gain after getting a certain number of kills and reloading. I basically never see this gun being used, and that's why it makes it onto my list. Rolling into our number 2 spot, we have the boring gun, And yes, this is not a troll. The boring gun really is a pretty good gun and is heavily underrated. It's basically a meme right now. This is a Torgue shotgun that comes from the Antelope and Devil's Razor on Pandora. It shoots 3 saw blades on the ground that explode on impact. Unfortunately, out of all 5 guns on this list, this probably requires the most work to get it to be useful. But if you guys get the right build and anointments, it can dish out some serious damage. I definitely think Zane and Mose get the best use out of this weapon, but out of those two, Zane definitely does way more damage than Mose with it. Mose basically can just shoot it more before reloading, but Zane can do some serious damage. I've actually beaten the scaled down Takedown with 3 boring guns and just a gun for shooting air targets, because obviously this thing just shoots saw blades on the ground, so I do need something for the air targets, but other than that, this gun can get you through the scaled down Takedown. If you guys end up pairing a shock boring gun with a transformer, this is a incredibly deadly combo, because not only are you going to be dishing out tons of damage to enemies, if you are close to the enemies and they explode, you are actually going to regen your shield and almost be invincible. It's pretty nice. Overall, for a gun that's considered a meme right now, this gun is a ton of fun and can put in some serious work when given some love. Finally, our last underrated weapon is the Carrier. This is probably the least underrated out of the 5 on this list, but I still don't really see it used all that often. The Carrier is an Atlas assault rifle with a tracking puck alternate fire. This drops from Judge Hightower in Electro City. What this gun does is it shoots a round that when that round hits an enemy, it splits into 2 tracking rounds, and those will seek out nearby enemies. It's not always the enemy you're shooting at, so if there's enemies around, they can track to those targets as well. For single targets, this gun does an insane amount of damage, as all those splitting projectiles will focus in on that one target and deal just a ton of damage. But also this gun is really good for crowd control, as those splitting projectiles will seek out nearby enemies, so even enemies you're not shooting at can end up dying pretty darn quick, which is really nice. This gun is really good on any character. It really does not matter who you are playing as. It definitely seemed like this gun has a strong cult following, but it's definitely a very small community. But these people will swear by it, and I'm glad some of them have actually pushed me to start using this weapon. I recently opened myself up to it, and lately it's been a staple with my Zane build. Getting 100% bonus cryo on this gun with Zane is insane, and I definitely recommend it. Overall, the Carrier is a great choice for any character and almost any build. But that is going to wrap it up for our top 5 underrated weapons. Like I said, this is my opinion, and these weapons were in no particular order. So make sure to let me know which of these 5 is your favorite, and also let me know what are some other underrated weapons in your opinion. Also, we have been streaming almost every single day over on Twitch, so if you guys want to, make sure to go follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Chadley99. We've been having a good time putting together builds and running speedruns on the Takedown and stuff like that. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like button for me. It really helps me out. If you guys want to see more Borderlands content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I just want to say thank you guys for watching this far, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.